it out.
Sure, yeah. That's what I'm here for. Sure. So I interviewed Edwin at Berkeley. What's your name?
My name is Bill.
Bill? Independent journalist from YouTube, like I said. I'm just over here to try and see, if you've had any successful conversations between people here today so far.
Yes, we've had a few. It's kind of sparsely attended, but when people do come in and if they're willing to be listened to, it's been very successful. And we've had a lot of people who really have kind of experience. What we try to do is give people experience of empathy. And that means that we have to transcend political lines.
Do you think the average person is capable of transcending those emotional ties to these political ideas because it's so emotional today? Do you think most people have that capability?
Well, I'm a retired special education teacher, so I am aware of when people are emotionally ready to hear something or not. I've been trained to and so certainly not today. They were agitated. But I think that if people just came in and just give it a try, we've seen on the left and the right, they get heard as individuals, and that makes it harder to demonize the other.
Right. Now, you mentioned you tried to get some people from that side over there to the tent. What happened when you went over to that side?
Well, I had this sign. So I support a culture of empathy, and this says what it means. And then we also try to offer Hershey Kisses. And so I went over to try to just empathize with the other side. That's what we try to do. And they were very angry at me. They saw the empathy tent. They identified me as we don't empathize with Nazis. And
wow.
So what I find, and I found some resistance over here. I mean, I had a very good conversation. And then somebody said, well, could you take a picture with this? And they said, oh, no, I might get in trouble.
Oh, yeah.
And that was on the right. And then on the left, they are very, very upset. And they just kind of grouped me with a Nazi, and...
So you guys, I've been to a lot of these events. I've seen the empathy tent from... My first time seeing the empathy tent was back in Berkeley in 2017 for the Ben Shapiro event. Yeah. I don't understand. Maybe you can help me figure this out. Why do they associate you with being a Nazi?
Well, we've been at left wing. I was at the first rally I went to was to the left wing rally to protest separations, which had a profound effect on me in just listening. And I think that it is short term. They see here's the barrier. They see the empathy tent.
Yeah.
The red people with the red hats are here. That's who you are. And no more thought goes into it.
Right. Yeah, I tend to think the same. Now, I went over there, and when I tried to talk to them, there were a gentleman who came up to me, and he didn't even know who I was. Right. But he kind of assumed everything that I thought, and I ended up asking him, why don't you want to just have a conversation with me? Right. And he said very fervently, because I hate you. Yeah. And it's like, well, if you can have such strong emotions negatively towards someone and not even know anything about them, do you think it's even possible to come back? Are those people savable? Is there any hope?
Well, I worked with some of the toughest kids you've ever seen and families. I mean, and I have tremendous, I was in it for like 37 years. And I think that people do. I think not in that moment, no, they didn't hear it. But if you sat down with them or if they agreed to come in, then yeah, we have a tremendous need to connect and to form community.
I think one thing that we're lacking too is our lacking value on things we do agree on, because I could find probably 10 things really quickly that I agree with those people on the other side of the street. Yeah. But if you disagree with one thing, it seems like that kind of overrides everything else you agree on. Do you agree with that?
It's hard. I mean, I don't want to classify. I mean, there were 2 or 3 people, and they were yelling at me for offering them a kiss, a Hershey kiss, and
right.
And
it's pretty innocent.
This is what it's all about.
Right.
And actually, I do agree with a lot of what they were saying, but they just were not in the space to do that. And so what we're trying to do at these rallies is to create a calmer space where people can do that and be heard. We're not going to be changing them or their views, but what I'm saying, whatever my political views, I'm willing to listen to you and see you as an individual first. Right. And I think that's the first step that we need to take to really, save our society.
Well, we have that in common, because that's exactly why I'm out here. I'm just trying to create a discussion. So thank you for your time, Bill. I really appreciate it. Thanks. Good luck today, guys.
poster is me.
Yeah, I'm here with Jeff Perrin. Is that how you say it?
Perrine.
Perrine. Okay, we've been on several posters together, but I want to clear up a couple things with you. Who is organizing this event today?
Myself, along with a few other people, Chris Ross, Aaron Bate was an assistant, Lindsay Grathwall, and Dustin, a good friend of ours, and Jared Flores, and another person who wasn't able to make it. I don't want to mention his name because he didn't make it.
Sure.
But a lot of people, the organizers, were just really to try to connect people. Chris didn't know who was part of the movement, so we really just linked him up with people that were motivated. So that was kind of our part of the organization,
I find that, with these events, it's kind of tricky because you get some people who are associated with the events who may not have the right ideas, someone who may have had a troubled past or whatever, who may be associated with some white supremacist group, something like that.
Right.
And then the whole thing gets labeled as a white supremacist rally, you know what I mean? Now, coming off of that, there's the poster that they have circulating with your face on it right now, on their Antifa pages and whatnot, is about you saying something about smashing immigrants' heads. What was that statement? Is that accurate? What did you mean by that?
Well, I have the whole entire thing recorded on my GoPro from Portland, so if they would have actually contextualized the rant that I was doing, I was trolling them, okay? I even went further and was like, lock them up and separate them from their kids, too. I didn't care. My goal was to troll, and I was breaking the PC mold. And when I was standing there with my megaphone, at the time, there was a gentleman that the Department of Homeland Security literally had a knee in the guy's head, and they were like crushing his head in the ground.
Yeah.
And that's why I made the comment, that's what we should be doing to the illegals. We should be smashing them. So it was like, I'm just saying contextually, for me, it was the fact that we're treating our American citizens worse. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like we need to go out and do that or all of them should have their head. It was more like you realize that we are treating people breaking our laws better than our own citizens. So they got a video from behind me, which doesn't show 10 feet to the right the Department of Homeland Security literally pummeling and beating a man into the concrete. So I was simply stating, why are we doing this to our own? That's what we should be doing.
And you don't actually want to crush illegals' heads.
No, and I mean, crush wasn't even, maybe the word got taken in terms, but it wasn't like, I wasn't saying kill people.
Right.
It was more like people breaking the law, climbing our fences, smuggling people over. They're not even put into jail. Like, it feels like they're just being given all these leniencies. I was pissed. You know what I'm saying?
You can't really say things like that because, like you said, there's nuance to it. There's kind of a sense of humor a little bit to it. And if anything with sense of humor is taken dead serious, some people aren't capable of understanding humor anymore. So you make those statements, and then it gets construed a certain way. I want to clear up another thing. Do you associate yourself with the alt-right?
I don't even know what the alt-right is. Like, I hear the alt-right, and we've become the alt-right, right? Because I was a Proud Boy.
I'm alt-right, apparently.
And that's what
according to who you asked.
For me, I don't even know what that is. I'm not violent unless acted upon, right? I wasn't the one throwing M1000s in Portland. I wasn't the one with batons. I wasn't the one with knives and axes. I went out there with body armor on because I knew I was going to be physically attacked and assaulted, pepper sprayed. I had goggles on to protect myself.
I have goggles in my backpack right now.
But you see my event here, there's nobody with goggles on, face masks on, helmets on. And you're right, we've got about the same number of people that I see at most events, 100 maybe. 100 people here, 150 people. I'm not going to go crazy, but to see this here in Sacramento is exciting for me. Yeah. And my goal today was really just to rectify some of the things that I've said and done and prove it with actions that I'm here to do more than just street troll and harass people, I'm growing within this movement. I admit I've made mistakes.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so easy to be called alt-right or a white supremacist or Nazi. It's almost like it's not even worth defending yourself at a certain point. Because the level of hate that I get just for asking people questions, I'm not even out here advocating any point of view. All I do is ask questions. But because I come over here and I talk to you, now I'm associated with whatever they think you're associated with. So it's like, it's not even worth, you can't even stop the spread of this false information. It's almost not even worth it, you know what I mean?
Their group is going to say and think what they want to say and think, And so my only objective is to show my friends and family and loved ones that what they're saying is not true. I mean, you can slander me all you want, but I know who I am inside. It's not going to slow me down. Them posting pictures of my house and my license plate and my children and the names of my wife, that is above and beyond anything I've ever done.
So you're not racist, you're not alt-right, you don't want to smash illegals' heads.
I do not want to smash illegals' heads. I am not alt-right. I am not a neo-Nazi. I am not a racist. I have staunch conservative values. I believe in traditional marriage. I believe in the LGBT agenda is actually bad. I feel that gays and transgenders and queer and whatever, they're okay people. I have no problem interacting and giving hugs to and celebrating things with. But the agenda being put through the schools, the colleges, etc., is what I have a problem with. So it's not the people. It's
right. Not the individuals, it's the ideologies behind them.
We have transgenders out here today supporting me.
Yeah.
And they have the same values as me.
Right.
It's really about the values and the ideologies. It's not about the person.
So speaking of values, last question. We're out here because we want to mobilize people to vote. What are some, just real quick, principles and values that you want to try and spread through this kind of action here?
Vote once. I want people to vote once. If you're a legal citizen, to please vote. I say tell all your friends and family to vote. Vote red, because if you don't, the state is dead. Gavin Newsom is going to take away a lot of the rights and privileges that we've had. You're going to start dealing with high gas taxes, water taxes. It's more than just normal political rhetoric. You know, we're talking about water resources, gasoline, food.
It's basic survival stuff.
Stuff that I can't leave alone. We, left or right, we both have to fill our gas tanks.
Right.
So my objective today was to find those few people out here what we can agree on. Can we agree that we all need to protect our kids? Can we agree that gas prices are out of control? That's the narrative I've taken today, is to completely not be I'm not enticing people. I'm not going after people. I'm just completely being chill today.
You're not antagonizing. I've heard that a lot over on the when I tried to talk to them over there, they said that people like me and you were out here trying to antagonize people. Now, what would you say to that criticism of this event, and that it's just here to kind of stir the pot and to antagonize people like that over there, the Antifa?
No one told them they had to come. They could have stayed at home and there would have been no problems at all. You don't see us down there bugging them now. The problem was when there was a lull in the show, you got people that got bored. They wanted to go down and interact and make a scene for themselves, get some likes and some videos. And I think that's what we kind of need to escape, is the likes and the exciting videos that don't really serve a purpose. I want to be more solution-based.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I'm not a neo-Nazi. I'm not a white nationalist. I'm not a racist. I love all people. It's about your viewpoints and the things that you believe ideologically. That's where we're going to have our divide. I do not hate you as a person. Thank you.
That's exactly what a white supremacist would say. Thanks for your time, Jeff.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
You.
Thank you.
You take my...
I agree.
So why is it, and I'm asking you this as the grandparent of a black child.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Why is it that Black Lives Matter pushes so far forward, but they don't bring it into the all lives matter?
Okay, so this is the thing. It's not. The only reason why we say Black Lives Matter is the racial injustice. No other race is getting killed by police officers.
No, plenty of white people have been killed by cops.
Okay, we need to publicize that, but not unarmed.
That's the thing. It doesn't get the media coverage.
Exactly.
Black
But Black Lives Matter doesn't. Yes, I agree. But Black Lives Matter doesn't. It's not saying other lives doesn't. I agree. Every life matters. Your life matters. Your life and my life matters. Yes.
Black lives matter more than they cover the fact that all lives matter. Not just Black lives.
Should be all lives matter.
I mean, but we
We're all
shouldn't
one
be
family under
upset
God.
with what the media does and doesn't cover.
But
If
the
we're
media pushes the agenda, it makes it sound like it's it's off, and it's not.
Yeah, that's what we
But
take it
the rate
as
of crime to
a
the rate
as
of
a
people
down to
doing
us
it
when
is
you
all
say it
legal.
that way. Because no, we're not black, we're white. We were born that way
I
as you
do
were born
understand
that
that.
way.
I do understand that.
And I
100%.
definitely feel it's not race, it's America.
Rate of citizens that are shot.
I agree with you 100%. 100%.
He's doing it.
But I don't think that when people say white lives matter or brown lives matter or any other lives matter, any other race gets upset because we do agree. You know, we're trying to shine a light on the things that's happening to us.
And you have.
Yeah.
You have.
This guy for all this.
Have we done a good enough job?
Yes. I like your method better
Same
than
exact
the Black Lives Matter because they're too
I'm part of Black
Seriously,
Lives
that
You are?
I mean, I'm black and my life matters.
Well, but you
Like
belong to that organization that is violent.
The guy was up for re-election.
I don't belong to any. I don't belong to any organization, but I support Black Lives Matter. I support all lives matter,
We all
though.
love
I don't.
everybody, though. That's our view. Is we all love everybody. I mean, everybody is entitled to their opinion. They're entitled to voice their opinions. But these people across the street that do violence is not. It's not necessary. You don't have to bring violence into it.
Do you love Jesus?
Yes, I do love Jesus.
Once we peel off this, we're all the same inside. That's all there's to it. We're all the same. That's why I wanted to walk up, because I heard you all go, you should sit down and have a dialogue with Will. He'd be more than willing to talk to you, and he does listen.
But no, I did not hear what they were yelling. I'm deaf.
But that's so. Here's part of the problem, right? You look across, you see people yelling something. You can't hear what it is. Your immediate reaction, because of where they're standing, is to do this, right? You have no information about what they were saying.
Isn't it better than flipping them off? I don't want to do that.
No, it's actually not.
I don't want to flip them off.
It's actually not any better than flipping them
Oh,
off.
But if you don't understand what they're saying,
Saying.
how can you disagree with
Right,
them
that's
in
the
this
thing.
question?
You are making an immediate judgment based on where they're standing, not because that's not good. It's not good to give them a thumbs down.
Are they making it for us though? What are they doing over
They're
there
doing.
for us?
They're not doing anything any better, right? All of this is theater of the absurd. This is theater of
It's
the
all
absurd.
for you. See that
Because-
camera up there? You see that camera
because
up
look.
there? That's what this shit's for.
Hey, last time I
You know how
was
this
here
all
for
plays
one
out?
over on the other side,
It doesn't
they
really
were
matter
guns
what
up
any of you
there.
think. You are
There
immediately
were
judged
guns.
as something
They had
because
guns.
you're here. Period. Right? Same thing is true over there. Doesn't matter what they say, they're on that side. This is all theater of the absurd. And the greatest injustice in all of this today was that while everybody's yelling back and forth at each other, there's a homeless woman walking around. Did anybody give a shit about that homeless woman? No. There was one lady over there that helped her. The rest of us, everybody else is so wrapped up in their "I hate you because you're on this side" nonsense that they didn't notice any of that. They couldn't take time out from this ridiculous. Somebody did.
How could
Somebody
you not?
did. But
watched you the whole time. I live here, and you don't just run up to me. You watch, make sure they're okay. You don't need to get near them because she's not. Yeah.
majority of the people here were so wrapped up. Yeah, they were still doing their
How
thing.
could you drive through these streets and not notice homeless?
It
How could
happens.
you? Oh,
It happens.
you know what? I live in a small little town of Auburn, up in the hills, and we have homeless.
I know. I've been up to
It's
Auburn
the
many
whole
times.
country.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that we have homeless in this country?
Well, there's a lot that's wrong with that. And my point was, here we are arguing about this theater of the absurd stuff, and we have a bigger crisis right in front of us that people can't stop doing whatever it is that they're doing to notice that.
Well, I think the homeless is one of the biggest crises we have
It's
in this
huge.
country.
Yeah.
Nobody in this country should be homeless. Nobody. Well,
That's actually very disrespectful.
Yeah, exactly. Wearing on clothing
I know all the rules.
And you
You
can't
don't
wear
make them out of. You don't make bathing
That's
suits
right,
out
so-
of them. You don't make.
So actually, what they should do,
But the
this would be awesome.
educate teachers everywhere that if they see a kid wearing any sort of flag apparel, they have to be sent home because they're disrespecting the flag.
Well, that's exactly what he was talking about.
That's right.
Yeah, and he was just saying
He's saying you should see your school district.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What the teacher needs to clearly communicate is, I've sent your son home not because he's wearing the American flag, because he has disrespected
But
the American flag.
I would bet that majority of the people who wear American apparel don't realize it's disrespect. Because I didn't realize that until a couple of years ago.
Right.
They
don't. It'd be fun to watch that play out, though.
Aren't taught anymore.
You're right.
You know what? When it was, I remember when it was. The flag code was not covered in that much detail, though. It wasn't. There was just some basics about raising it, lowering it, letting it touch the ground, all that. We didn't talk about flag apparel stuff.
Well, they hadn't had it yet way back. I don't know how old you are. There was a
Wow!
time
Now,
the market
you just
wasn't
went
out there.
ageist on me. That's
I
nice.
might be older than you. So anyway, I'm almost Medicare age. So no.
I think you're a skosh older than me then.
All right. So you guys came out here. You mentioned the facts. We're not making arguments based on facts, stuff like that. We're talking about, for example, black relations in America. I've been to enough of these where I can kind of articulate points from both sides pretty well. I want to try and challenge you guys on some of those ideas and see where this goes. Now, give me, in a simplified, boiled-down statement, what are the top one or two arguments for, say, for example, systemic racism against black people in America?
The arguments for?
Evidence, arguments.
The disproportionate number of black people jailed there, the disproportionate sentencing for
I think mass incarceration would be a great place to start.
Mass incarceration, the rate at which black people are shot in interactions with the police versus whites. Lots of people will tease out the numbers and say, if you look at the white population, it's a much larger number than blacks, but it's the white percentage of population is just higher, so you get a larger
Black America makes up 13%.
Percent.
Yeah, I mean, but we still have as many African Americans in the prison system as white Americans, when
right,
we only make up 13%.
It's a much higher percentage based on population.
So I like that we're talking about statistics and facts and stuff like that. That's kind of the realm that I like to deal with. Now, if I'm going to push back on that point, I have to also bring up a statistic that you brought up. 13% of the population is black people. Black males, who make about 6%, half of that, 6 or 7% of the population, they're responsible for around 50% of the murders in America. Now, is there any correlation between the crime rate and the incarceration rate?
Because I gotta see a fact on that. I can't just comment on something that I don't believe is true.
No, there's no.
It's FBI statistics.
But again, see that. So throwing out 50% is slightly skewed again because of their small percentage. So now you
that's kind of the point I'm making, is why is it so big, and does that have any correlation? You made the point that your original argument was that there's a discrepancy in the statistics, which is why there was systemic. Yeah, you said that there's a larger proportion of black people imprisoned. Okay, well, discrepancy.
If we're going to do this, words really matter. Disparity and discrepancy are two vastly different things.
So I'm bringing up a disparity in the statistics as well, and I'm just asking if those are related at all. Because you look at a statistic, you can't really know why that statistic is the way that it is by just looking at a number. You have to ask yourself, why are black people being imprisoned this way? Now, the easy answer is to say because white supremacy, because racism, right? But,
you tell me. I mean, we're pulled over, arrested for weed, marijuana at
a higher rate.
10 times the rate of white men. Black kids get expelled from school from doing the same shit that a white kid did, that doesn't get expelled. So, I don't think it's just, there's not one answer, to the question.
That's true.
I've been when I'm just out skating, and I've been with my friends that are mixed and everything, and they would go to them first and ask them questions, and not question me, not say anything, and I noticed it, and I was like, damn, that's fucked up.
And that's a prime example.
Tiny little experience I had,
So I ran with two of my best friends in college. Both of them got in some serious fights. Like one dude stomped a guy's head in the concrete. His first charge was attempted murder. He ended up getting off of it. Boom. My other guy, Seth, he knocked somebody's teeth out. You know, it was 100% his fault. He was in the wrong. The guy was doing nothing. You know, Seth paid his fines, went on about his business. Now, I was with these two people on Cesar Chavez Day in Chico when a guy come up to me and referring to monkeys. I let it go for like 5 minutes. Then it got to the point where I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to go to jail for something, this is what I'm going to jail for. And so, yeah, I gave him one good left, and that was it. The police came to my house. How they even knew who I was, couldn't tell you. Police came to my house, 15 deep in the backyard, 15 deep in the front yard, arrested me. My bail was $50,000. So I had to sit there for 2 weeks. Luckily, my friend Zeke, who went through the first altercation, his parents bailed me out. Because they was like, whoa, Zeke damn near killed somebody, you know, and I punched somebody. He was like, okay, so they bailed me out. Went through the whole system, got 120 days in jail during finals. So, you know, there goes my education, you know, so I got to sit out 2 years. Then I got to, you know, reapply to the board, you know, because now I'm a problem with the community. I'm a menace to society, literally. You know, they give me a fucking strike. I got a strike. So, boom, if I hit you, I only got one more, or I'm done in this society. Real shit, I'm done. You know what I'm saying? So it's just...
And there's another example of this.
No, I want to say, I can understand why after you experience something like that, why you'd feel that way, why you would feel that, you know, the system is against you. I fully understand, and I have empathy for that situation and what you experienced. But, you know, to use your anecdote as evidence of like a countrywide problem, do you think that's really fair? That helps me understand where you're coming from as an individual. But do you think that's good evidence of like a systemic problem, though?
Yeah, hell fucking yeah. I do believe that if I could go back, I would have never put my hands on nobody else again. You know, I would have been a stronger man if I would have just looked that man in the eye and just took everything that he said. You know, I gave him something. You know, he got some kind of, you know,
he a parting gift
reaction out of me, and I gave it to him, which is exactly what he wanted. You know, so I got to do better. I have to educate myself. Like, I got to be a better, stronger person for myself.
So would you say were you deserving of that, of your treatment, though? You mean
hell no, 120 days, a strike, a felony.
It was too much.
That's in the extreme. But
come on, bro.
That
was very extreme.
Let's say that York's story was just one and
the
only data point, right?
Courthouse somewhere, you can go pull, it's public record. You can go pull all that up.
Let's say that the York story was the only time this had ever happened, right? Then you could start to say, okay, maybe it's not. But you can collect millions of these data points, right? It's not just his story. These stories happen all the time. At some point, you have to acknowledge that it's a thing, that it's something, that there's something systemic behind it. And if it's a bridge too far for people to say, oh my God, it's racism, okay, sort of, but at least acknowledge that it's a thing. And the problem is, you can't even get people to acknowledge that it's a thing.
Yeah, it's like this argument.
Right, so it's like, it's not even racism. It's not racism. It's not even a thing. It's like, no, bullshit. It's a thing. You have collective experiences. Those matter. They add up to something. And
they have emotional value, but, you know, the plural of anecdote is not data.
But
it's not.
No. But after a while,
you got to remember, we're trying to talk about facts here.
But after a while,
he doesn't know why. He doesn't know why he got that particular number of days. You don't know why you got that particular number of fines.
I never had a prior. Like, I was a good kid. I was on scholarship playing basketball at school during finals. I went to court that day during my finals and got reprimanded. I'm from Arkansas. I didn't get to tell my mama, my daddy, my brother, my sister, you know, until I got to make that phone call, which at this stage, who remembers a fucking phone number? So I'm just sitting in jail like, somebody gonna figure out where I'm at, you know?
And so, and this is where it becomes a slightly dismissive argument, right? Because it's like, how do you prove that it is this thing? Okay, well, I can flip it back to you. How do you prove that it's not? Right?
I'm telling you, I prove not.
Well,
Two of my best friends went through the same situation.
I know you can, but it's a general question for everybody else. How do you prove that it's not? Right? at some point, right?
No, now you're kind of falling into what I think is the reason why you have this polarity, because you're kind of falling into this need for absolutes. We need to know 100% whether it's true or 100% whether it's false. The best that we can do. No, it becomes a matter of facts. The best that we can do is look at reality and interpret that the best that we can. For some people, it's anecdotes, terrible experiences. For people who haven't gone through that, the people that you're actually trying to sell the idea to, like you said, some people aren't really believing in the idea of racism. All they have to go off of is facts. FBI statistics, crime statistics, things like that. The closest representation of reality that they have that they can look at. So if we're not going by that, by the facts, the statistics, you're going to try and sell them on something that they can't understand because they didn't go through those experiences. And that's that's why people...
Somebody who deals with alcohol, the first step is to admit you got the problem.
Right, and so again, it does boil down to this: how can you convince me that it's not a thing? And it's not a matter of absolutes. It becomes a matter that they don't really believe that thing even exists, right?
No, it's true. They don't believe it exists.
And so the facts ultimately don't matter, because they're not going to do anything other than interpret them in the way that best suits them. And so with stuff like this...
Well, aren't you a little bit guilty of that? Your main argument... Now remember, I started the discussion by saying, what's your strongest argument for systemic racism? And you went to statistics.
Right, because...
So you're now in the arena of statistics. You're opening yourself up to being attacked on statistics.
Right, but I also take it as an article of faith that it's a thing that exists. And now these numbers bear it out. If there was really just a completely equal setting in terms of how blacks, whites, Latinos, everybody is treated by the police and the system and all that, if everything was just inherently equal all the time, then it'd be really hard to pull numbers out and go, well, gosh, yeah, there's systemic racism. But if you look at numbers that say that something happens disproportionately to a group of people, there's something behind that. They're just definitely...
There is, but there's no way for us to know what that is. There's as much evidence for you saying racism as there is for me saying there's not. There's no way. You're signing that because of past experiences or because you're biased towards certain ideologies, but there's no way for you to know exactly what that is.
Well, I didn't deem my situation racism,
Yeah,
I know the judge was right.
Did it sour your opinion of the legal system at all?
Sour? Well, yeah, because I thought I was going to get the same treatment my buddies did. I was walking in the court like, give me this 3 years probation so I can get to class and take this finals. But my life, my whole life was altered that day by that decision. But I could look at it one or two ways. I can be mad at that judge. I can be mad at the whole system. Or I can look in the motherfucking mirror and be like, you know what? If you didn't hit that man, she wouldn't have had the power to sit your black ass down. You know what I'm saying? So
the fact that you recognize that,
I gotta look at myself. You know what I'm saying? Like
that
I'm not gonna get the same treatment as this man if he goes and kicks that man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't get the same treatment.
But here's the thing: if you don't do anything, if you don't kick that guy, it's not gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You gotta take their power away.
Right. It's ultimately an abstract construct, right? How do you definitively prove it one way or the other?
That's what I'm saying. But
it's like the same thing is true of religion and lots of other things.
Well, you people...
Religion itself is an abstract construct. It is.
Let's get into physics.
Well,
this is a science podcast now. No, but seriously, like...
With the clocks twice a year, completely unnecessarily. We could have just as easily decided that a day had 37 hours.
Well, here's the thing, though. You kind of, when you were having that conversation with this woman, you kind of approached it as like, wait, you don't acknowledge that racism exists? Like, you kind of had this assumption that everyone should believe that racism is there. You know what I mean? You kind of had that idea that it's like, wait, you don't believe that racism exists?
And that's not how I approached her. I approached her from the standpoint of she gave a thumbs down to something, and I was curious. And then when she
After you kind of had a conversation with her,
that she didn't know what had been said, I was really curious. Then, well, why are you giving a thumbs down to somebody's just saying? I mean, maybe they're over there yelling, "I like pizza," and she's like, "I don't know, it's dumb."
But can you kind of see how the statistics thing isn't really a very good argument? You know.
I can see how people can choose to say it's not a good argument, but again, I think if you have enough of something, it has to mean something, right?
Well, let's apply that to a different situation.
Stories have to mean something.
I'll give you an example.
Sure. Well, we have to.
I'll give you one example.
I'm going to give you a hypothetical after this.
some shit go down.
You know, while we were talking, they zip tied a black guy.
No, I didn't know
street.
that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to look for the first police officer I can run to if some shit go down. And I might need some help finding them. You know what I'm saying?
Looking for a black one?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, I see minorities over there in uniform.
He gonna protect his guy first. He gonna protect the
he only protects Asians
first. So
see, no, it's
That's how it's broken down in prison too.
Yeah.
yeah.
I learned that it's in jail too. It's in jail too.
He's a white guy, but he thinks it was black. That wasn't going down. He had to fight one of the Aryans in there. My dad worked at the prison.
Tribalism.
So I've called my dad out for being racist, and he doesn't think that he is. He says, "Oh, I have black friends, this and that," and it's just like
That's everybody's first fucking argument. Yeah.
I've gotten an argument with him where he started yelling and stuff, and I wasn't even yelling. I was like, "Dude, you're my dad," like, you know. And my stepmom came in and was like, "Honey, you have a little racist, you know." And it's like, yeah.
I always
well, let me.
It's like, no, you aren't. It's like, I'm a little pregnant. No, you're not.
So we've kind of established a precedent that if there's a discrepancy or a disparity, to use your word, in statistics, then we can kind of say, in your words, there's something going on there.
Yeah.
So let's apply that to a different situation that's not maybe as emotionally charged. NFL, for example, is like 70% black. Why isn't it 50-50? What's going on there?
You want me to keep it 100 with you? Black people are just more athletic. That's just all. They run faster. The NFL's about 40 times. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna pick the fastest 40. Whoever runs that fastest 40, that's who's gonna get the job. Whoever makes them tackles, that's who's gonna get the job. So, and to be honest with you, I'd rather be a fucking judge, doctor, lawyer. So I mean, in Black America, our opportunity is, be a rapper, an athlete. That's our claim to fame. You know what I'm saying? It's
in the NFL. That's that.
Well, whose fault is it that, say for example, you were going to school and you saw a black kid who had glasses on and all he did was read books and listen to jazz music all day? Would he be discriminated against at all by the other black kids in the hood, for example?
He probably would, but that's because the ignorance of the people in the hood. They're uneducated. This man is clearly educated.
So it's kind of a self-perpetuating problem.
100%.
A cultural problem.
It's a cultural problem. I agree.
On that side it is, and I can tell you that he would have just gotten shit because we would have considered him a nerd.
Exactly.
Straight up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, that stuff happens.
So we've established that there's cultural influences and also some inherent influences. Like you said,
where does that start, though? You don't see...
Black people are just better at sports?
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm saying like the only positive thing you see about black people is what we do on the field and on the court and on the big screen. You don't see a lot of the good things that black people do in communities or for, charities and just things like that. So the young black kid, he's going to want
what he sees and what's glorified in his culture.
Glorified, yes. And what's being glorified is the black athlete, the black actor, black entertainer. So that's, of course, what he's going to be. But if we publicize a group of black attorneys growing up and we figure out a way to market that, then there's going to be some little black kids like, you know what? Hey, that's clean.
Some little Uncle Phil's?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that's kind of a ground-up problem because the culture needs to start from the bottom to say, hey, we're okay with you being a book nerd, wanting to be a lawyer type of stuff. We're not going to try and get you to go into criminal gang activity because of this and that. We're not going to make you listen to a certain type of music. There's a level of conformity there. Would you agree that, if you're not part of this black culture, you're kind of outcast, which is exactly kind of what you're saying. If you don't follow this particular cultural idol...
No, not all the black people.
In the hood, I mean,
No,
I'm not saying all, but I mean, there's a kind of a tendency for that.
I mean, when you listen to what your black people rap hip-hop, so you're going to listen to black people. Majority white people sing country as an example, so you would listen to more country. You're going to listen to what you are. Like you were saying, like black people
your culture
killing more. Like, listen, black people kill black people, white people kill white people, Asians kill Asians. You kill what's in your community. You know what I'm saying? It's not like black people are going to the other side of, I'm going to kill some, or maybe some do. I'm going to speak for everybody, but that's just the reality of everything. Like, you kill within your community, It's black on black crime, white on white crime, Asian on Asian crime, Mexican on Mexican crime. That's what, that's all what it boils down.
You think that's a bigger problem than racism and people who kill people just because they hate the other color? Like Chicago, for example.
People kill black people because of race.
Here, let me give you. Let's do a comparison. Do you know how many unarmed black people were killed last year by cops? The number?
I can't give you the. Yeah. I can't give you the statistics.
No, I don't.
It was like 17, 18, I think, maybe 16.
Where, in Sacramento or in America?
Unarmed black men in America.
No,
Killed
hell.
by police,
That's
17?
it, 17? I don't. Well, I know one of them personally, so. Shit,
No,
that
compare
ain't
that. Compare the level of media coverage that they get compared to the level of violence that's happening in, say, Chicago. Why is there no call to make Chicago safe and to help the black community there?
So
Let me tell you
So
this.
here's the problem. Chicago always comes up, and it's always in the context of nobody's doing anything about Chicago. There's plenty of work going on in Chicago. It doesn't get the coverage that it deserves, but it's not like people are just sitting around going, hey, look, a bunch of black people shot each other again over the weekend. We can't do anything about it.
I just want to know why we don't hear about it. Why isn't it as big of a deal as, these cop shootings?
Black people are killing black people. Nobody gives a fuck.
That's right. They don't care.
So the media narrative, the media doesn't care about black people.
No. Check this out. I'm not. I didn't put anybody in that box. Nobody gives a fuck. When black person kills a black people don't give a fuck. But let a white man come kill a black person. Let a black person go kill a white man. Woo!
It's a big news story.
It does, yeah, it matters.
It's a good news story.
And the police thing is really more about because it's this idea that they're supposed to serve and protect, and there's just this general feeling now that they don't. That they really they don't. You look at corrupt police departments in Chicago.
Well, if I can give an anecdote, since we shared some anecdotes, I've been in situations like in Berkeley, for example, where I'm being chased by a mob of that, and the police refuse to help me. And I'm white, and I kind of assumed like, hey, where's my white privilege at? Why aren't they helping me out? That kind of goes both ways. I can use experiences bad experiences where I've been pulled over and I've had my car searched by cops for no good reason. I've been detained illegally for no good reason. But I'm not going to attribute that because the cop thought my skin color was wrong. I look at it as, it's just, what is it, bad training? The guy has a bad day. What the problem was, orders from their officers. I'm not going to apply that to the easiest solution in my head that it comes to, which is my skin color. I'm going to, and I think if you do that, you're hurting yourself. If you're telling black kids that cops hate you and cops are racist, how are those kids going to grow up to see the police and to see law enforcement? And how are they going to be encouraged to behave around them?
Kids, they know about the police that are in their community. You know what I'm saying? Check out Tommy Norman. Police officer, Little Rock, Arkansas, white guy. He does more for the black community than any black officer I've ever known in my life. So it's the people in the community. The officers in the community are going to have to change their, the way that they do things in the community. Get out, be active, go talk to little kids. What are you scared of? Like, let me ask you this question. Like, are you scared of me? Okay.
No.
Well, I just don't understand, why a police officer with a gun and all that other, why are you scared? You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes you scared? I'm telling you, that's terrifying.
I'm white and I'm scared of cops. I don't ever feel comfortable if there's a cop approaching me, pulling me over.
Well,
there's never
some shit then. It's not because you haven't been through no shit.
Right,
you're
right.
scared for a reason. If you're white and you're scared of police, something happened to you.
Yeah, exactly. That's independent of skin color, of race, of whatever class you put yourself in.
Nothing has to happen to a black man for him to be terrified of the police. Nothing has to happen. But for you to be terrified, I know you've been through something. The police have done something to you, so that's just...
Well, it's kind of the same thing. Something happened to you or something that made you kind of think that way. You're not just born with an innate fear of police.
Educate myself. Oh,
I wasn't born. Yeah.
Like I said, it's how the police in your community treat you growing up, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I am. Actually, I can't even say I don't dislike police. I ain't gonna call them if my house get robbed, you know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna deal with the shit, you know what I'm saying? If I gotta file an insurance claim, that's the only reason I ever call the police. Because I need that motherfucking window fixed. That's the only reason. I don't call them for protection, none of that. I can protect myself.
Well, that's good. I think the less reliance you have on them, the better, but
but it's kind of...
I really do have to...
Yeah, gun violence, that's a whole nother...
Yeah.
That's a whole nother topic, but I
This is
can't...
interesting.
Thanks for having a discussion.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Take it easy.
Hope you guys
It
have a
was
good
nice
rest
to
of
meet you,
your day.
man.
Give us your tire, give us your week, and yet they're still trying to keep out 3,000 immigrants.
Yeah.
And 3,000 sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not. And these are people that are These are women, children, people that are trying to get away from violence, and they're trying to say that if someone from a caravan throws a rock, then you should be able to shoot them. This is their president. This is not our president. We did not elect this president. The popular vote did not elect this president. A bunch of racist old white people elected this president. We did not. People did not.
So how do you feel like them saying like, oh, we love you, we care for you? They're just trying to say they are all about love. How do you react? What's your reaction to that?
Just sorry, I didn't agree to be interviewed by you. Okay, then why you do the camera on me? And you're, okay. When I get back over there.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Okay.
Are you from Sacramento?
I've lived here about a year.
A year? Okay.
Yeah, I moved from North Carolina.
North Carolina.
What do
Okay.
you do these days? Are you going to school or?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Says get out. What? Says get out. Oh, it says get out. Okay. It's hard to read the print on it. I'll go that way. I can sit on the swastika. Okay.
They're confronting the female police officer, presumably because she's female, and because of her classification, they don't want her to be a police officer. Basically, it's pretty sexist, actually, to assume somebody's beliefs based on their gender. But to be honest, it's not very surprising. We've seen this many times before, and they don't ever convince any of the police officers to take their gear off. I've never seen that happen. I've never seen them actually convince a black officer or a Native American officer or an Asian officer to take off their gear and switch sides.
We don't see no right here.
We're also being paid to protest. What's up?
How's it going?
How's it
What do you guys think about what's going on here today?
It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of well. So I just talked to this black gentleman over there. He told me he was called a Nazi.
Yeah.
That's a little absurd.
I was called a Nazi too. I mean, this kid right here in the black says no Nazis, and he has a swastika on his back pocket. So who are the real Nazis?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like, all I'm here for today is because honestly, I thought, just like in Berkeley, just like in Portland, the police department might be told to stand down. And if that was the case, I was here to be the last-ditch effort to make sure that. Look at them; they're badass. They have Clydesdale Budweiser horses.
Yeah, right.
They have the real Budweiser horses, and they're out here in defense of the Capitol and in defense of the Constitution of the United States, and more than that, in defense of our freedom. You know, so they're allowed to protest. But the sad part is, when is it going to become violent?
Right.
When is Berkeley going to happen? When is Portland going to?
Well, to be fair, 2 years ago they had a pretty big outburst here where it went a little bit worse than it did today, you know, and it seems like the cops kind of beefed up their efforts since then, or they've learned, you know, since then. So, you know, I think it's at least a step in the right direction, right?
Can I ask your name?
Jeremy?
Asher.
Asher?
I don't care what station you're with, but.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man, because everyone I talk to, they want to know who I'm from, and they want to know what bias and this and that like that. So, you know, if you're confident about your ideas, it shouldn't really matter. But
you know, I've been doxxed. I could already tell 3 times today. I walked to Starbucks. I got my picture taken, and
hey, my face is on is on posters.
Yeah, and that's the sad
because
part.
I ask questions.
Thank you guys so much for coming, because when you guys go home tonight, I'm getting sued for literally just coming here. And that's what they do. They take pictures of you. Their green hats are all lawyers. You could look at all the green hats, and they're all lawyers, so they want to dox you.
Yep.
In fact, you know, how's it going, you guys? And that's what makes me nervous, is the green hats have been standing right next to us. taking pictures of us all day. We don't mind.
Right.
But the thing is, I will face a lawsuit when I go home. And that's.
Do you live here in Sacramento?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Same here. Yeah. Yeah. They will. They'll use that information to harass you, put your name on posters, stuff like that, follow you. I had stuff stolen from me from my backpack. Yeah, that's just part of the whole gig,
I'm chauvinist. I'm a legal American immigrant, and I love the Constitution. I love the values that the United States was founded on, the Judeo-Christian values, and I, from the bottom of my heart, cannot stand to see my city be destroyed like they're doing in South Africa right now.
Oh, so you don't align yourself with either side? You're just kind of here as...
No. I align myself with conservatism.
Okay.
Yeah. In fact, I was independent until Antifa got created, and they pushed so extremely left that me as a centralist...
Moderate.
Kind of had to say, okay, well, I don't agree with that, so I agree with this.
Yeah, they have a tendency to push voters away from them. And the thing is, the left, the mainstream left anyway, they don't seem to denounce that group, you know what I mean? Whereas the right...
They don't want to denounce it.
No, they don't, but, the right, they denounce the white supremacists, they denounce the Nazis, they deny the alt-right, all that.
They were independent people.
Right. They weren't even associated to begin with, but they're not afraid to denounce that. You don't see that same behavior from the left, which means we can only assume that they are endorsing this behavior.
Well, what they want, what they really want is not anybody to fight, but it's for everyone to fight, and for everyone
just division,
to cause chaos.
General division.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Benjamin Franklin says it in one of his treaties. He says, the rules in which a great empire be deduced to a small one. And that's exactly what he mentioned, was divide the cake before it's even cooked. So when it cooks, it has no time to even set. And that's what they did. That's what they're doing great. They're dividing the cake. They're making, see, this is a 2-year-old chant that they're saying. Right. And we've disproved everything.
Right. Yeah.
And they're still using it.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, but I appreciate your time, man.
Of course.
Thank you.
Jeremy,
yep.
Take care, brother.
You too.
Have a blessed day.
Stay safe.
Okay. Hey. I don't know if it was done like you, bro. Nice Swazi.
Alright. I know nothing. I'm not walking around with the Reichsfuhrer symbol on my head.
I was about to say,
I don't think we're
wearing the swastika.
We don't. You can sit there in here. Yeah. We just think they're
Test.
Hello? Is this the Krusty Krab? No, this is Patrick.
I want to point out the difference in how the opposing sides are treated here. So we have this gentleman who's a protester on the side of the Trump supporters. Nobody's harassing him. Nobody's trying to push him out. Nobody's yelling at him. Now, when I went to the other side, just to hear their ideas, you saw yourself, I was censored, pushed out. I was, they were trying to shove me out, basically yelling at me, whatnot. So you can kind of see the difference in how they're treated.
What do you think about that? Hey, back to 270, I beat you. Remember that?
What?
Remember that?
No, that's a train. No, I do not remember.
Three times. Flag round at Nader at the ledge. Remember that? What happened there?
No, I don't remember.
On the ledge, the flag round.
I don't remember. What did you do? Like a number?
Oh, so
I also found a CF card in your bag.
It took him 8 years to get good, and I quit skating when I was 17. And I picked up a skateboard. Right now, can beat you in skateboarding.
You just want to ride some
He wants to ride your skateboard. Literally.
No, I'm not even, buddy. I'm not a faggot like that. I'm not a homo like that. Hey, watch where he moves that foot.
Huge.
You're still talking, literally. Shut up. You're still talking. What are you still talking? What are you still talking for? You're talking around me. It's really fucking annoying. Shut up.
Shaking in my boots. Stop.
Shut the fuck up.
Ladies, stop. It's harassment. So you're not actually. Like she was yelling at me all day long. She's over here being fucking crazy.
Literally, bro, stop. If you're gonna talk about me, talk to me. Don't talk about me. I'm standing right over here. Don't
don't do it. Do not do it. Yeah, it's people like him who can't have a conversation and take me out of my element because I'm a very peaceful protester. I came over here actually because him and his little group of friends were sitting here antagonizing this man for literally silently holding a sign. I saw them talk at him, talk at him, talk at him, talk at him. So I came over here to be like, y'all, stop talking. Like, just back up. Let him hold his sign. Be quiet. He started coming at me crazy. You can't come at somebody crazy and expect them to just be calm.
So, like, why are you out here today? Were you just walking by?
I came out here with my sister to come see the state capitol because I had never been, and we came out here and saw people protesting. I was here maybe like an hour and a half or so ago, and I walked just to walk over here. And
sorry, do you know me? She's very polite. I don't know. See, I feel like you're telling her. What did she tell you about me?
I like my personal space.
Sure.
Get the fuck out. I like my personal space.
Why are you so rude? You don't even know me.
I'm asking nicely, and I have.
Oh no, I'm just trying to talk to her actually. Because she's saying falsehoods about me.
Already told. She's saying it rudely, but I am saying it nicely.
I know you are very nice.
You know what? So can we have our? Excuse me. Can we have our?
You may.
Thank you.
Oh, so here's what happened. I was talking to her. First I was talking to her, but then I switched to her because she was willing to have a conversation. And then this masked person over here, she decides to come up and she was actually whispering things about me to her. She doesn't know who I am. She's never talked to me. We've never had a conversation.
Oh shit, I don't want to get kicked. Let's go enjoy our party.
Josh,
get out of the way now. Get out of the way now.
I want to show how strong they are.
Voice his opinion. How do you think I would fare if I were to go?
Yeah, so the little, like...
He hasn't said it.
Why would he say it?
Why is his support going up? If everybody really believed that.
Listen, but you don't.
Hey man, check it out. I've been here all morning.
Horses have to go.
You're saying that if you go over on that side of the street, you're like something that'll happen.
Yo, yeah.
I'll tell you what I saw happen earlier. I've got a guy I was talking to. He was throwing out Sig Heils. I tried confronting him on it. He said, no, I'm praying over people, and this is how I pray on people. I thought he was throwing out Sig Heils. Well, he said, no, I'm praying over people. I'm praying over people. But, you know, just trying to pretend like he doesn't know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, right? Anyway. The point is, that guy actually went ahead and went over to that side of the street and went back to his car. He walked right through the crowd and nothing happened here.
Yeah,
so I know that you understand that they're violent. You think that they're violent mob that are going to beat you up?
If we were not
you got a high-vis yellow vest on. Like me? I mean,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, you walk through.
You know what I mean.
If I were to go there,
he's a Latino guy wearing a high-vis vest throwing out Sig Heils. But he went
Omar
across to the side of the
Gutierrez.
street.
Yeah, no, he wasn't a Sikh. That wasn't a Sikh Heil.
I mean, I
He
got
was
on my
waving.
GoPro.
He was literally waving and said that
if you're gonna tell me
Omar
that was a Sig Heil, I gotta tell you you're being disingenuous.
No, I'm not. I
gotta tell you you're being disingenuous. Dude
How
was
is
throwing out Sig
Omar,
Heils.
a political candidate, throwing up a Sikh Heil?
I don't know if it was a political candidate. I don't know if we're talking about the same guy. I know for a fact that I had a guy that was throwing out Sig Heils, but he crossed to that side of the street and left, and nothing happened to him. So all I'm saying is that if you believe you're going to get the shit kicked out if you go to the other side of the street, it's false. It's demonstrated. Well, if you grabbed a sign...
No, he means if he had a sign.
Has anybody grabbed his sign? Has anything violent happened?
No, we haven't. We didn't even argue with
you guys are going on and on about how you're going to get beat up if you go across the street.
I would be attacked. It's happened before. If I were to go there and actually voice my opinion.
And guess what?
I would have an easier time believing you guys weren't Nazi sympathizers if you weren't hanging out with guys throwing out Sig Heils.
Well, you're hanging out with communists here.
Joke. Sig Heil.
But I've never.
He's Mexican.
He
speaks with an accent.
Can I seize the means of your transportation for the state, please?
You've put a lot of words in my mouth there.
I'm just glad you're over here talking.
So we get to get. Okay, all right. I'm being infantile. I apologize, but come on, man.
Can you be a Mexican Nazi?
Hey, buddy.
I don't think that's how it works.
No.
You can't be from Mexico and be
it's the whole
a white Nazi.
Multicultural racism.
For white supremacy. We should go home.
Are you 21, dog?
I'm older
there.
I'll
but
buy
yeah.
all you guys a fucking beer if we just agree these fucking idiots.
Hey, Asher,
speak Afrikaans?
Asher, you speak Dutch Afrikaans?
Are you guys good?
No.
Well, because, yeah, because I'm saying, how can I be told not to do that?
I don't see any beds.
If you can find one, can I have you guys just help us?
What's up?
The event organizer's right here. That's his truck. He's loading up everything.
Yeah.
If we could just stand in front and behind his truck, make sure people are.
Help these policemen out.
You're not even on your side.
I know. Seriously, I tried to.
Yeah, oh my God! 30 years ago. That hat has killed 100 million people.
Sexual assault.
I'm sorry, we can't hear you. What are you saying? What are you saying? We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Cops and Klan go hand in hand, so apparently these guys are all Klan members. Uh-oh. I don't want to be on the receiving end of one of those. I got body cams, though. What's going on, guys? How do you feel about the event today? Yeah, I didn't think so. They were at the Black Lives Matter rally where they stole my gear and harassed me and cornered me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone's threatened me for the past 10 minutes. It's on fucking video.
Why are you putting your sign in front of his? Whatever. You shouldn't put your sign in front of someone else's. You're not trying to silence his voice. You're gonna fall on me.
Hey, those pigs stop ever from like stomping on you, huh?
My pizza? Am I holding food? You want me to hold it? No? Okay. Oh god, now I'm nervous. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to Weekly Narrative.
Thank you.
Undercover for a while, they just brought him up.
What percentage of those people, though, what percentage of Trump supporters do you think are those racists and actual racists, you know?
Well, somebody says 6%, but I'll say more like 12, because there's a lot of undercover. There's a lot of undercover racists in this country. That's including liberals.
Yeah.
I mean, I do not support the Democratic Party either, because they've been probably the most racist, using people of color and not really getting them any advantage over the country.
Yeah.
So I tell people, I can see why See, with me being Native, it's the border thing because we believe those people are our relations.
Right.
And they have been migrating. I mean, there's scientific proof that people from Central America or further have been migrating to the Americas. But this stuff was never brought up in the school books or something. Maybe if this stuff was more taught in schools, people will understand. They don't teach nothing about indigenous peoples of the Americas in schools. If people were brought up with that in the elementary schools or junior highs or high schools, they might have a better understanding. Wait a minute. These people were the original inhabitants of this continent.
Well, educate me a little bit. Now, I think I talked to you in Berkeley, right? You were in Berkeley for that event thing? And I mentioned because you're part of the Brown Berets of Aslan, right?
Yeah, Aslan, you could get different interpretations
you're normally
of that.
in the
Well,
Aslan
they're
garb,
not trying to, well,
do you mind if I record?
Might be some kind of extremists on that, but Aslan is just a symbol of the Americas. And actually, if you look at photos of
nobody even knows what you mean by that, Aslan. Though, what is that?
Well, it's America, and
America before.
Well,
the
let's
white man
say
came, right?
let's say Mexico, and up through Canada, and that region right there, and with the little tail that goes in Mexico.
Yeah, yeah.
If you look at aerial photos from up above, in the sky and stuff, of that area, and it looks just like a turtle. So how did they know this was Turtle? Why did they call it Turtle Island? So it's Turtle Island. And Aslan, I mean, because a lot of Native histories have been kind of suppressed, so they look at that area of what used to be Turtle Island as Aslan. And where it was more specific in the past, that's probably lost to a lot of knowledge. I mean, lost over the years, but they look at that area of being the original homelands of the indigenous people of the Americas.
So that's what now. When you're out here as the Brown Berets to Aslan, are you trying to say that you want that to come back? You want to like take the land back from the white man and recreate that, or what?
I mean, let's just say you guys conquered us. That's the way of the world. Conquering wars go on. How many wars the United States got going on right now? 30, 35, 50? That's the way of the United States. That's what they do. So you think just because they had one war in the United States, that's going to be the last war the United States ever had? I'm not advocating war, but I'm just saying that's what United States does.
You might take it back.
You guys know, I'm just using your guys' language. Oh, we conquered you guys.
Yeah.
Well, fuck. People have been conquered over and over through the centuries.
That's
You don't think it may not happen again? I mean, that's the way the world seems to be going right now.
Right.
Would it happen tomorrow? I doubt it. Would it happen in my lifetime? I don't know.
I see.
But we're not out there with. These are the 3%ers are out with carrying the guns all over the United States, advocating for the overthrow of the United States government. I'm not. Those people up there are.
Oh, tell me what is your argument against the 3%ers? I've heard a lot of they say the 3%ers are the racist. I hear a lot of people over on that side saying that the 3%ers are kind of their target of a lot of their criticisms.
Racist? Probably not. Out of good handful, yes. Just like the Brown Boys say they're not racist, but you go on the rallies, you hear them, yelling faggot and the N-word and shit, and they say they're not. Well,
What does racism mean, though, in today? When you have black people and Asians and Mexicans in the Proud Boys, how could they be racist? Is the definition changing, or what does that mean exactly? The Proud Boys is a good example.
You don't have to be white to be a racist. I could be a racist. That's just thinking you're more superior than another group. But I think the Proud Boys, they want to...
just to give me your simplest definition of racism.
They're racist chauvinistic.
Give me your simplest definition of racism.
It's another person because of skin color, not even know that person or their culture or nothing.
Okay, I like that definition. Now, using that definition, what about the people who are saying all this anti-white stuff? Does that also fall under racism?
The what?
See, anti-white stuff, like anti-white, white privilege, white people are evil, white. Somebody, who was it? Don Lemon just said on CNN the other day that white people are the scourge, they're terrorists and all that.
There's a percentage, but...
Is that racism, though? That's all I want to know. To also say things about, like mass generalizations about white people, is that also racism? Which is what you hear a lot from people on that side.
There may be some.
So that's not racist. Well, according to your definition, that is, though.
If he truly believe in his heart that he hated white people, that'd be different. But if he just trying to make a statement, like a lot of people both sides do without the facts, that just getting your.
You gave a little bit. You're giving the leeway to the people who say generalized things about white people.
Who's gonna have a conversation? Don't start spinning all this now.
No, I'm using your definition. That's why I asked for your definition.
A lot of stuff. I don't have the answers to everything.
I liked your definition of racism better because
if it's coming with hatred in his heart, then it's racism. I mean,
so I agree with you. I agree with you 100% on your definition.
All the facts of what you're talking about, so I can't really comment on it. I don't know what he really said. I don't know, because some people say something and they forget the context it came out of. So I can't really speak on the down.
Well, okay, let me give you another example.
I haven't seen because people just take little things out. We don't know what he was talking about. I don't know what he's talking about, so I'm not going to talk about a specific person that I don't know.
Come on. It sounds like you're kind of weaseling your way out of it now. We're just using your definition, and we're trying to apply that to, other situations.
Well, okay, let's take it their situation where they say black people, or Trump says Mexicans.
Yeah. What do you mean?
When Trump talks about Mexicans all being rapists and criminals, he's lumping everybody in one group.
Well, first of all, that's not what he said. You know that's not what he said.
Yes, it is.
No. He said some, and he said, some of them are good people and this and that. He didn't say all Mexicans are rapists. And statistically, 80% of the you do know. Okay, well, we have to.
Let's move on to something else, because I think most people can understand that one in broad terms. Sometimes things are taken out of context, broader terms. But racist is just like I said before. If you just are hating on somebody, don't even know them just because of their skin color, that's racist.
Well, I agree with you on the definition. So well, all right. What do you think about communism? Because these guys over here are all advocating for communism. You said you don't like the 3%ers because they're advocating for destruction of the government. What do you think about the people who want to grow government to this massive level that's going to be controlling everything?
It already does.
I agree. I'm out here as, if I was going to align myself politically, I'd say more of a libertarian. I want smaller government.
I'm not a communist, so you have to talk to a communist to more of that stuff. So
come on, see, you advocate for the points that you are in favor of, but anytime I try to bring up a point in something that you might be in favor of, you can't argue against it.
I'm not a communist. You have to talk to someone.
You're not a communist? Okay, all right, well. So you think the government is too big?
I think they have their hands in too many things already as it is. But
I agree with you.
Anti-government. I don't
same here.
For overthrowing the government. There's a system. People got to get involved and they got to make their voice be heard. Just like right now, you're having your voice heard, and everyone on this side and on the other side are.
I think that's kind of what the whole point of this rally is today, is just to make sure that everyone's voice is heard. Do you think there's been a little bit? Do you think
Amber, Will, these other guys travel all over, including maybe yourself, just to antagonize people?
I think
you actually said it on your podcast. You had a sign at the Black Lives Matter, and you said you was there to antagonize people. Did you not, Jeremy?
I didn't say I was there to antagonize.
Yes, you did. Did you?
No.
Yes, you did, Jeremy. On your podcast.
No, I didn't say I was there to antagonize. I actually legitimately believed in what that sign said. I absolutely do. I could argue that all day.
Jeremy, you're spinning your own.
No, I don't go to stuff to antagonize.
He wanted to antagonize people.
If I was here to antagonize, I'd be over on that side.
You already said
I'll give you this. I can understand how you could think that.
Yeah. What about the guy with the bullhorn that comes into other people's rallies and shouts out? He yells around at their rallies. Are we over there shouting at your rally? No. But he.
Oh, come on. The Republicans can't do anything in this state without having somebody calling them a racist or a fascist.
You guys can do everything in this state still.
No. I think that's the point, is that there's been an air of censorship.
Got arrested that were stabbing people.
At this rally?
Well, they stab people. They stab people at many rallies over the States the last several years.
That was 2 years ago. Yeah, no, that wasn't good. I'm pretty sure that case is still ongoing. Look, the point is, I don't see why we have to see each other as enemies just because we have slightly different ideas on this kind of stuff. I mean, if you're over there if you're if as far as I'm concerned, if you're using absolutes,
I'm more level-headed than most of the other people because I'm probably on this
well, you have a discussion with me, so you're definitely more level-headed.
I've been around a lot more stuff, so I'm probably more level-headed than just.
It's taken me a while to actually be able to have a conversation with you, though. I just want to say that I think we can't be absolute about everything. We can't say that everyone in this group or this group is evil or bad, and that's a lot of what's going on right now.
Blame one group for another one, then let's talk about the other group doing the same crap.
I agree.
Let's do some fair stuff here.
100% agree. Thanks for your time.
And then you will be a real reporter, and we won't be somebody that spins everything.
I don't spin.
Yes, you do.
What? No. What did I spin?
Oh, dear Lord.
Look at that. We got a conversation. That's good.
Jeez, dear Lord, Jeremy. All right. I don't hate you, Jeremy.
Just give me the begin. All right. Hey, as long as we have the freedom to do that.
Give me an old man like me a heart attack.
All right. Well, can I at least shake your hand? Fist bump? All right. It's going too far. Oh, come on. See, I'm willing to shake anybody's hand. I'll shake any of those guys' hand, which I'm going to go try to do right now. Okay, so we're going to go over to the other side now and see if we can ask some questions. I'm imagining we're going to be met with rejection, but all right, let's see what happens here. Can I ask you guys about your sign? You don't want anyone to know about your sign?
I don't want to talk to you.
Why not?
I don't want to talk to you. It's my right. Get the fuck back over there.
Well, I don't have to go back over there. I mean, okay. I just wanted to see if I could talk to you about your sign. Now, GOP traders, I think their side says white nationalist. Do you think all GOP members are white nationalists? Okay. It's about the level.
Stop reading the Turner Diaries and stop playing from that playbook. Maybe I'll respect that. Until then, you need to cross the street.
So I'll come over here open to hearing whatever you got to say.
No, you're not open. You read the Turner Diaries. You're a piece of shit.
What are the Turner Diaries?
Exactly. It's fucking coded language. Do you understand when a man says globalism, that's disrespecting Jews? You need to fucking go to libraries.
Why are you so upset?
Because I hate you.
Okay.
I'm unabashedly hate you.
Okay.
You're a piece of shit.
Do you think that's going to change anything?
I don't give a fuck.
So you don't want to change anything?
No, I need you to read the Turner Diary so you understand what you're repping. It's not my issue. You need to solve your problems. Your problem is you hang out with nationalism, globalism are coded fucking words from, William Pierce. Do some history on your fucking, look up the order.
You can educate me right now. You're free to talk as much as you want into the mic about whatever it is you're talking about. Christian identity?
Order. Look up Gordon Cahill. Look what you're representing.
Okay, yeah. It seems like there's a lot of assumption going on about what I represent. It's tough. I don't represent any particular ideal. I'm out here trying to get what both sides are saying. And I think the biggest problem is that there's a lot of assumption on both sides going on. They have a lot of assumptions about what you guys say. And if we don't have any kind of communication, any kind of... Okay, so this guy... He looks like a real journalist. I think he knows where it is now. So, nobody's interested in dialogue at all or anything like that? Well, I'm not just asking you. I mean, there's a lot of other people here. So you speak as a collective, is what you're saying. You speak for the whole group. You assume that everyone in your group believes the same thing.
Yeah, because unlike that side, we have solidarity. Yeah. We have a solid platform of, we think they're a bunch of dumbasses, and they are spreading hate. We have a solidarity. We all have the same message of, we don't want hate in our city.
Okay, and how are they spreading hate? What is the message of hate that they're trying to spread? Don't engage with the YouTube troll. I'm not, I'm notice I'm not giving you any of my opinions. I'm just asking you what you think.
Oh, you're missing the point. But you're so condescending about it. That's the problem.
I'm not being condescending at all, but I appreciate your time. Let's see if we can go over here and talk to some of these people.
Don't talk to the YouTube troll.
Does anybody want to give me your kind of take on what's going on here, why you're here? I'm open to hearing anything.
Those people like you.
People like me? What are people like me?
Don't engage. Yeah, I'm just covering up.
Oh, you supported fascists.
I'm open to hearing any ideas.
He's destroying our society, encouraging hate.
Destroying society?
Synagogue.
Why won't we let them talk to me? That's kind of strange how they don't want anyone to talk to me.
No one wants to talk to you.
Okay, well, you don't have to. I'm just coming over here to make sure that nobody does. I want to give you the opportunity, the same way that I gave them the opportunity.
This is what it is, huh?
What's that?
Start a fight.
I'm trying to start a fight with all these cops here?
I don't know.
No.
Maybe.
No, just a citizen journalist. Do you ladies have any opinion on what's going on here?
Troll.
Nothing. Okay.
Right-wing press doesn't care about you.
I got they just called me a white-wing press. Anybody want to give me their take on what's going on here?
YouTube troll.
Yes.
Roses are red. Healthcare should be free. Why does it hurt when I pee?
I've often wondered that myself.
I wrote that poem. It's pretty good.
What kind of what?
Sir, your hair is very nice.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. If I could see your hair, I'd probably compliment you too. Your helmet is very nice, actually.
Thank you. Absolutely. You have a nice watch too. I like it. Very
Remember XJX on Pornhub is some really good porn. You should check that shit out.
We finally got a real take from somebody over here.
Absolutely. just saying, if you want to check it out.
I appreciate that.
If you want to look at my penis. Hey, do you want to hear a joke? You want to hear a joke? It's kind of long. It's kind of.
Sure.
Okay, so anyways, so this is called the Romanian wedding joke. So anyways, so there's this guy, and his name's Charles. So he decides, okay, I don't have a lot of friends. I should go and meet people, So he starts hanging out at bars, and just goes out. He doesn't really know how to socialize, but he starts meeting some people, and eventually he makes a couple friends. And he starts to become more social, come out of his shell, and he's like, you know what, this is nice. I should get out more and meet more people. And eventually, he ends up meeting this really nice lady, and after a couple years, they decide they want to get married. So anyways, the thing is, she's Romanian, and the area of Romania. Sorry, the car's passing by.
Sweet home Alabama!
Anyways, so he decides, you know what? I want to marry this woman, but since she is Romanian, the area of Romania she comes from, they have very weird marriage traditions. He wants to honor that, and he says, okay, honey.
Come on, Mike.
Honey, we can do the Romanian wedding your style. So anyways, so it's this big gathering in the woods. It's very very spiritual, Hey, sorry, cameraman, taking my picture because I'm so beautiful. Anyways, sorry. I forgive you. Anyways, so he's like,
I'd like to see the forgiveness. That's good.
Absolutely, yes. So anyways, so he says,
we shouldn't be engaging him.
I was going to say, aren't we?
Yeah,
no, I'm telling him a joke.
Yeah, I don't care. Don't engage.
Don't engage.
Well, there's actually no punchline to the joke, so.
I know. I figured that out a long time ago.
Yeah. No, it's.
I was enjoying the imagery though of the joke.
He goes up to the line to get some punch, and there's no punchline, But I drag it out like 20 minutes long. My coworkers fucking.
Oh, so it actually does end with the punchline and him not getting.
Yeah, that is what. Yeah.
Yeah, can you walk away from me?
So we're getting.
Quit talking shit, pussy.
So I was kind of hoping that we would get some actual discussion, but as usual, kind of getting blocked out. The whole camera censorship thing. Not very many points being made over here. So we'll go check out the other side of the rally and see what's going on. Hey, I appreciate your time. Just to let you know, I was open to hearing anything you had to say.
stabbing last time this happened.
Yeah, when you get hit in the face, when you get hit with a pole, and you get pepper sprayed, and you're getting boot partied, you can be killed. Stabbing, I mean, dude, if they had guns, they probably would have shot them, and they would have had every right to shoot them in self-defense. I'd have said go for it. I'm very transparent, dude. Well, okay, I don't know if that was a little bit of facetious sarcasm there, but facetious, fascist.
Sounded pretty
I have low blood sugar. Yeah, totalitarianism.
What's your deal, man? What's your take on the situation here?
Nah, I'm not interested in doing interviews.
All right. Just getting the footage.
He's part of the media, but he's not talk to the media.
Hey, that's what the.
I heard this was going down. I came out here to watch.
That's what the beauty is. You can just take a camera and come out here and experience it yourself.
Are you ladies part of the rally by any chance?
No.
No.
Passing by?
Just passing by.
Do you mind if I ask you a question? I just want to see, as an individual not associated with this, what your opinion is on what's going on.
I mean, I will.
Do you mind?
Yeah, I don't mind.
My name's Jeremy, by the way.
I'm Alex. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. And your name?
I'm Lonnie.
Lonnie?
Yeah.
Very cool. Nice to meet you guys. Okay, so we're here with Alex and Lonnie, who are just passerbys. Okay, we're here with Alex and Lonnie, who are just passerbys to the event. As neutral individuals, I want to get your take on what's going on here, because this kind of thing doesn't really happen every day. What do you think about what's going on here?
I can definitely see extremists on both sides here, and it kind of just makes me sad that we live in such like a hate-filled country. There's not a lot of open-minded individuals who are welcome to just a conversation. So I don't know.
That's what I'm trying to do out here. I was just over on that side of the street, and I don't know if you.
Welcoming.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if you saw them, but I'm trying to be as open with them as possible. I let them say whatever they want in the mic. I'm not there to like debate them or anything like that. They were covering my camera, trying to push me out, all that kind of stuff. Do you think that's the way to solve this kind of division that we have going on here? Or like you said, a discussion kind of seems like the right way to do it, doesn't it?
Yeah, there needs to be more, like I said, open-minded individuals and people open to having conversations with one another rather than just wanting to, I don't know, they try to prove their point with hate on both sides.
The guy over there
doesn't seem to be getting anything done.
Yeah, no, there was a guy over there who walked up to me like he knew me. He knew everything that I stood for. And he said, I asked him why he doesn't want to talk to me. He says, because I hate you. And I think he said with like every fiber of my being, I hate you. He doesn't even know who I am.
Or what you see.
Exactly. And,
determine somebody. I feel like what you view and what you see doesn't determine somebody. It's just when you make it hatred, like when you make it hateful and you're saying stuff that, like that guy said, it doesn't make you any better than the person before you. Like, why does my views make me better than you? And I think that that's the issue that we have, and I think that's why it's so extreme on both sides. And you don't, like we were talking earlier about how they resort to cussing and saying
like name
stuff,
calling.
Yeah, name calling.
What is that getting accomplished?
What argument are you putting up? Like, what are you talking? You're not really putting up an argument. You're just being hateful.
well, you guys sound way more level-headed than most of the people here. Are you? Hopefully you're gonna vote. Are you gonna vote?
I live in Nevada, so
You're gonna vote in Nevada, right?
Yeah, I'll vote Nevada.
Very cool. Anything else you guys want to say about what's going on?
I think we're good.
I hope
I love everyone. Yeah. Let's have more conversations and get things accomplished.
More conversations. You heard it here. So those guys don't want to have conversations. We're gonna try and have some conversations with these guys. I thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. sir. Can I interview you about your sign?
Sure.
You're one of the few people over on this side that actually has a sign that's reserved for people on that side, but it caught my eye, so let's see. What's your name? Marco. Jeremy. Nice to meet you.
All right, let's get everybody up to the steps of the council.
I'm here with Marco. He's got a sign here that says, jobs, not mobs. Marco, what's your message out here today?
I'm here to support President Trump. I'm here to support his agenda. He's all about putting Americans back to work. I'm one of them, and I'm grateful for what he's done for our economy.
So yeah, your kind of message here is economic one about jobs, and
I think the message is pretty simple. Jobs, not mobs. The Democrats provide no solutions. All they're doing is bringing people together to destroy, burn, and hurt others. Trump is here to help heal the nation. And what we have to do is have strong families, and one of the ways we get there is for a family to have some breadwinners in the house. So we have got a lot of more breadwinners we have now than before Trump came in, and I'm one of them.
now forgive my ignorance, but your name is Marco, and are you Hispanic descent, possibly, with the brown eyes and brown skin?
Yeah, well, I am. I'm half Mexican. I'm half Irish, actually.
Oh, very nice. So what do you say to the accusations of Trump being racist against, say, for example, Mexicans, black people?
It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Trump is probably the least racist president we've ever had. You want to see a racist president, go back one administration. Trump is all about Americans. He wants to support Americans, black, white, anything. And that's what he does, and that's why I support him.
What do you think about the arguments on the other side? Those people over there who are advocating for communism, and they focus on, your what kind of group you belong to culturally. White skin, brown skin, LGBT. Do you think they have any kind of coherent message on that side?
I don't think the right has any message. Pardon me. I don't think the left has any message whatsoever. Their message is simply to resist Trump. That's their message. That's not going to get us anywhere. That's not going to keep jobs growing. That's not going to keep the money rolling in. They have nothing to say. They have nothing to do but resist, and that's a loser from the gig.
I agree. Well, thanks for your time, Mark. I really appreciate it.
Good luck, man.
Good luck.
We praise you, we give you the glory, in Jesus' name, amen.
You're a lot taller than me, Ben. If you are a veteran, active duty military, former first responder or current first responder, we want you guys to come up on these steps, please. All of you guys, all veterans, first responders, please come up here. Is there any more that want to come up? Any more veterans, first responders, EMTs? Let's give these guys a big round of applause. Let's thank them for their service. Jeffrey, why don't you come lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? All the veterans, we're going to keep you guys up here.
Are you ready?
Which flag are we using?
Everybody get your hats off, hands across your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
of our coworkers. Okay? That's one of the biggest